Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 12, Text number 16. Atmastriya Patya Suhurdo Balam Riddha Kosham Antapuram Parivihara Bhuvascharamyaha Umandalam Jaladime Kalamakalaya Kalopashishtam iti saprayayo vishalam. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thus Dhruva Maharaj at the end left his kingdom, which extended all over the earth and was bounded by the great oceans. He considered his body, his wives, his children, his friends, his army, his rich treasury, his very comfortable palaces and his many enjoyable pleasure grounds to be creations of the illusory energy. Thus, in due course of time, he retired to the forest in the Himalayas, known as Badrika Ashrama. Purport. In the beginning of his life, when he went to the forest in search of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Dhruva Maharaj realized that all the bodily conceptions of pleasure are products of the illusory energy. In the very beginning, of course, he was after the kingdom of his father, and in order to get it, he went to search for the Supreme Lord. But later he realized that everything is a creation of the illusory energy. From the acts of Srila Dhruva Maharaj, we can understand that somehow or the other, if one becomes Krishna conscious, it does not matter what his motivation is in the beginning. He will eventually realize the truth by the grace of the Lord. In the beginning, Dhruva Maharaj was interested in the kingdom of his father, but later he became a great devotee, Mahabhagavata, and had no interest in material enjoyment. The perfection of life can be achieved only by devotees. Even if one completes only a minute percentage of devotion service and then falls down from his immature position, he is better than a person who fully engages in the fruitive activities of this material world. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So, Dhruva Maharaj, by his complete engagement in his sadhana as well as in his duties as an ideal king, he got the realization that this cosmic manifestation is like a dream created by the illusory energy of the Lord, the external energy, and developed the intense desire to come out of this dream of material bodily concept of life, and since he already had developed a relationship with the Supreme Lord through his practice of Bhakti Yoga, he desired to realize the Supreme Lord and his abode, developed a desire to go back to Godhead, and he prepared for the next step towards that. And the next step towards that was, even though he was an ideal king and he was dovetailing everything, acting as a king on behalf of the Supreme Lord, ruling the ordinary citizens, he wanted exclusive absorption of his mind in the transcendental form of the Lord, as he did when he was a 5-year-old boy. He remembered the taste of that, and he experienced, as it is mentioned here, realizing that all the pleasures that he is surrounded with, they are all just play of the illusory energy of the Lord, and it is not of any substance. A dream has no substance. The characters in the dream also there is a story. There is story, in the dream also there is realization, relationships, there is rasa. In the dream you feel fear, you feel happiness, you feel love. In the dream also. And that dreams, so dream is also, there is a story in the dream also. But the characters in the dream story, they are just products of illusory energy. When you wake up, you see those characters are not there. So those characters were only an experience. Similarly, in the material world, we see characters. We have different names. In each of our mind, we know our father, our mother, our friends, our society, all different characters are there in our minds. So all those characters, Dhruva Maharaj realized that these characters are just as long as the body remains, and even that also the body grows old. So therefore these characters, my own character that I am this body, my role play as this body, as well as the characters of all the others whom I have created in my mind world, my father, my subjects, my this thing, my wives, my children, everything. He came to the full realization that these bodies are not the spirit souls. The spirit egos, eternal identity is not this. So I am dealing with their temporary identities. I create a temporary identity as if my existence is this body. My body is my existence. And I create so many relationships. First I create this aham, I am this body. I have got the power to do that. Especially in the human form of life. This power to become I and to create a relationship mine is there in the human form of life. Just like only human beings have got the capacity to stage a drama. Please note that. It's such a very unique. That is why human life is very rare. In the dog world or in the cat world, they don't produce movies. There's no drama. But they have eating, sleeping, all our senses they have. But they do not have that opportunity. This is the reason why human life is very important. In the human life, we are born like animals, and then we also develop bodily concept of life like animals. I am the body only. Then when we meet the spiritual master, we get the second birth, not bodily birth, your birth as an eternal servant of Krishna. And then you are born as an eternal servant of Krishna. That is your real birth. That birth is that awakening, that Shraddha, that faith. And then our goal is something else after that. Our goal is to attain the world of eternal identity, that I am the spiritual body. I am an eternal servant of Krishna. I have no birth, death, old age and disease. This drama life, phantasmagoria of being placed in a body which is not in my control. Every living entity in this material world is planted in a material body at the time of birth, and that material body is completely controlled by Kala. According to Kala, you have no control. From baby you have to grow to boyhood, to middle age, to old age, death. All these processes. Our body is our closest possession that we have. Every one of us in this material world is the closest possession. It gives us a sense of identity, who I am, different from everybody else in this material world. The body has senses which are covering of the senses of the spirit soul. So the spirit soul has senses, has sensual activities, has relationship, all these things. And all those things are manifest on the single illusion that I am my body. So this I am, the generic energy of I am, the generic energy with which if I put you on a stage and say, now you have to play the role of a king, so immediately you are able to jack up your mind, oh, I am the king. You read the script, you read the role, everything, then I am the king. This thing cannot be done by an animal. This faculty is not there in the animal body. So there is a reason why God has given this great faculty. So if somebody lives his whole life thinking I am the body and he dies, he has never utilized this faculty. This faculty is continuously relate ourselves to practice our original life with Krishna by thinking, feeling, willing and acting as a servant of the Lord in this material world. This material world is a stage. It's a stage on which the entire material life drama is going on. Our social world is a drama. And in that drama we are having so many relationship prasads and all these things. And our scriptures guide us that how in the midst of being in that, different role plays in this material world, like Dhruva Maharaj played the role of a king, but he never forgot Krishna. He got his goals very clear. So each of us, even though we decide that we have to go back to Godhead, there is something called karma. That karma holds, we have to enjoy or suffer or go through the unwinding of our karma, prarabdha karma. Of course, this prarabdha karma and sanchita karma is a very big obstacle for us to leave this body and go back to Godhead. As long as karma is there, karma bija is there, we have to take birth in this material world. Our illusory life will continue in another body. Again, now you see the great blessing that a Sadguru, a spiritual master, casts upon a disciple. It is a spiritual master who, when we surrender to spiritual master and we commit to the spiritual master, really I want to go back to eternal life, go back to Godhead. I have been imitating in this world as a master, as a lord of all I survey. Trying to control everything, trying to control money, trying to control energies, trying to control other living entities, trying to be the center of all enjoyment. Oh Gurudev, oh Krishna, I am done with this. This is over, this chapter is over. By your mercy I have realized the play of Kala and Karma. And I am entrapped in this body. I am entrapped in this body. I surrender unto you, Srila Prabhupada. Take me back to Godhead. I'll follow your instructions. My material mind-body system has so many anarthas. This is karma. I got so many still desires. I have deposited. There are material desires engraved in my chittam. I am different from my chittam. I have decided to go back to you. I have decided to come to you. But my contaminated consciousness is a drag to my journey back to Godhead. So somehow we start with devotional service. This is the point in this verse that is Prabhupada is talking in the purport. That even if we have so many material desires, even if we fall away, if we have surrendered even once to the Supreme Lord, He will somehow will not leave us and will engage us in such a way that slowly we get freed from this karma and go back to Godhead. So the spiritual master, that is the meaning of saying that the spiritual master takes one's karma. That means the karma is still influencing us, but it is in charge of the spiritual master and the super soul. Super soul is in charge of everything. He is the dispenser of all karmic results in everybody's heart. He is the boss of all he is a sanctioner, Upadrishta and Anumanta. Every materialist karma, phala is coming because of his sanction. Even though there may be so many intermediate agents of demigods, etc. But actually the fruition, everybody gets the fruits of their karma by the sanction of the super soul in the heart. Lord is unlimited. His role play in this material world and the spiritual world is inconceivable. He is seated in everybody's heart as Paramatma, and he is involved. And in the case of devotee, he as a Chaitya Guru, he says, okay, here, the devotee says, I surrender my life unto you. Sarva dharman parityajya mame ekam sharanam vraja. I follow that and I surrender unto you. Obviously, at that moment you can surrender. But 24 hours to surrender, our anarthas are there. So these anarthas are unwanted anarthas, unwanted things around the soul, contaminated consciousness, that also has to be managed properly by a sadhaka. That's the point I am coming to now. The Lord, of course, is very merciful and does not leave the devotee in spite of because he knows that my devotee has started bhakti as a mixed devotional service. While doing devotional service, he has got his old lust, kama, krodha, lobha, all these things are there. So Guru also knows, Krishna also knows. But the protection, how to manage that, is following the Guru's instruction, what to do with these anarthas. So the spiritual master engages our anarthas in preaching Krishna consciousness. We have the ability to talk, you talk for Krishna. You have the ability to manage for Krishna. You have ability to paint for Krishna. You have ability to market for Krishna. You have ability for cooking, you cook for Krishna. You have ability to convince people, convince for Krishna. So, these abilities we are born with, this is prarabdha karma, abilities and debilities. There is weaknesses and strengths also. So, these things are to be engaged in the service of the Lord in a particular way. Because anarthas are disease. With respect to soul, it is like a symptom. Just like fever. Fever is not a normal situation of the body. If you have to manage fever, you have to manage it with the help of a doctor. In the same way, one practices sadhana bhakti to move from mixed devotion service to pure devotional service. There is a process. During that process, our material desires and contaminations, which are definitely bound to be there, we have to be extremely careful that we do not create Vaishnava aparad, or we do not become a disturbance to other Vaishnavas who are also, just like you have to manage in the hospital, there are so many people in the bed. Right? Suppose suddenly there are some people can be put together in one ward because there is no contagious disease. Suppose somebody has got TB, immediately doctor will say, put him under quarantine. No, shift him from this bed to that bed. What is it? Because he should not pass on his TB to others. So he has to move out. So we also have to be careful. TB patient, he should know, I have got TB anartha. I have to manage it properly. Prabhupada has given instruction for that. I cannot just let go like this, go and, I have infection. I cannot go on giving my infection to everybody else. Is it not? I have to be careful. So this is to move from mixed devotion service to pure devotion service. We live in the community of Vaishnavas. Each of us have our anarthas. We should ensure that our anarthas are not disturbing other devotees. That much management we have to do. We have to be careful. We have to be cautious. We will not be cautious unless we know that this is a weakness. I should know my anarthas as they come up. Anarthas are not known altogether at one time. Because this prarabdha karma, guna kala karma, kala is a force. What anartha you felt you did not have 10 years back, you will see suddenly coming up. Because it was destined, at this time this will come up. So we have to be extremely careful. Now we may have a sense of dependence as a young person. We surrender to Krishna, all those things. When you are 40 years, 45 years old, slowly your prarabdha karma will start thinking, oh, I have to be independent. I have to, all other things, all other anxieties of life that would have come at the age of 45 will come to you at that time. But if you have Krishna, if you have faith, develop faith in the holy name of the Lord, if you have developed faith in a very good sadachara, sadhana program, all those things will have no effect at all. It will just touch and go. And Guru and Krishna will continuously manage our anarthas to our advantage of increasing our bhakti. Sometimes our prarabdha karma it will be dovetailed in a way in which, suppose you have to have some sickness, Krishna and Prabhupada may decide, let it go through, let him go through that. Let him learn, come out of the bodily concept of life. Krishna can do that. So devotees' life, sukha or dukkha in their life, Once they follow Guru's instruction, they are very clear that I want to go back to Godhead. Sukha and Dukkha in their life should not be a measurement of their bhakti at all. Because Krishna is personally handling them. Each person is different. Custom made, customized instruction Prabhupada is giving to each devotee in his life. That is why we have to be very grateful to our spiritual master. It is not that you are getting the mercy from spiritual master, from Srila Prabhupada, only by reading his books. In all your critical junctures, you are continuously, once you have faith in Srila Prabhupada, you are my Sadguru, then you are guided continuously to free yourself from anarthas one after the other and make progress in spiritual life, get detached from the material life. As Dhruva Maharaj, just see how Dhruva Maharaj, when he realized face to face the Supreme Lord, that time itself he could have gone back to God and Krishna could have taken back. No. There were a lot of seeds of his material desires in him. So we create desires, ambitions, all those things. So Krishna also, anyway you are taken birth in this body, you finish off this. Don't create new karma. And old karmas all I will handle. Lord is in the heart. I will handle, provided your only goal is to engage in devotion service. I will give you the strength, I will give you the guidance, I will give you the transcendental knowledge, Divya Gyan, by which you can realize and become detached. I will give you the Vairagya Shakti to get detached from the illusory energies, display of pleasure, power, love in this material world, so that we don't fall for that kind of, power, love, pleasure, so-called knowledge, which the whole karmi world is running after. All those things are display of illusory energy. Become detached from that and become attached to pure spiritual power, spiritual love, spiritual pleasure, spiritual knowledge. Those are all asat. Asat, Achitta, Nirananda, Jadananda. Get detached by Vairagya Shakti from that. I will give you the Vairagya Shakti provided you realize that, yes, I know it's illusory, I want to give up. Guru, Sadhu and Shastra says this whole material world is like phantasmagoria, a dream. The previous verse said, Dhruva Maharaj realized that this cosmic manifestation bewilders living entities like a dream or phantasmagoria, because it is a creation of the illusory external energy of the Supreme Lord. This material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. What we are chasing after in this material world, with the perverted mentality of being self-centered pleasure, self-centered power, self-centered love, self-centered knowledge. That very same thing that we are chasing after, it is our surupa, it is our nature. To run after Satchidananda is our nature. But we should realize that the cause for material existence is independent running after Satchidananda. Instead of association with Krishna and experience Satchidananda in association with Krishna. We want independent, self-centered Satchidananda in association with other independently seeking Satchidananda jivas. Though this whole society is a kingdom of Maya, just like kingdom of God. In kingdom of God, we are also there in the atmosphere of Satchidananda energy. Simply by being in that situation, being in association of the devotional service, pure devotional service, one's original transcendental bliss, unconditional sense of happiness You will see in the following verses how Dhruva Maharaj, when he goes to Badrikashrama and meditates, and he starts experiencing his transcendental bliss, Atma Ananda. Not Sharira Ananda, Indriya Ananda, Atma Ananda. Any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, when a devotee falls down or when sometimes his devotional service is checked, is it because of his prarabdha karma?
So many things. When you mismanage your, let's say you have a prarabdha karma where you are a very lauding type. You want to boss over everybody. That is your karmic force. You want to boss over everybody. Now, if you use it to boss over material energy and engage it in service of Krishna, it's okay. But if you want to boss over other souls who are also aspiring Krishna consciousness, and if your bossing over becomes a disturbance to their sadhana, then you are making a Vaishnava offense. So we have to be extremely careful that one thing is, okay, the Supreme Lord as a super soul and Prabhupada will manage our abilities and debilities, all those things, debilitation, all those things they will manage. But we have a responsibility to stay without creating Vaishnava offense. So this is one of the things. You follow your sadhana, be free from Vaishnava offense. This is your obligation and duty. You do these two things, and Prabhupada and Super Soul will ensure that all the other things are taken care of. That dovetailing factor, how to engage you, how to engage your lauding tendency in a way in which you take care that while engaging you don't get into Vaishnava offense. So in sadhana bhakti also it is extremely important, not only associating with Krishna, associating with the holy name. We should be cautious that we do not, just like you see, somebody has got his karmic tendency to always compare with somebody else. And you are very disturbed. This devotee got this service, I did not get this service. And the disturbance, it's all due to one's nature. One's nature is coming from one's past karma, comparing with others. So once you compare like that, then it becomes a disturbance. Now what do you do with that disturbance? You take guidance and shelter from the Vaishnavas and Guru, and you handle that disturbance in a way in which you are advised to handle. What Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, maintain that, don't fall for that duality, maintain that sobriety, maintain that dhira, be a dhira. Dhira means this kind of disturbance come. So if you're not a dhira, then you will react to it. Then because let us say when in the material world somebody compares and becomes envious of somebody, then you'll try to pull him down. So suppose you respond like that to your anartha by pulling him down, then you make Vaishnava offenses. But since you are a devotee of Krishna, you have transcendent knowledge. When the disturbance comes, your devotee aspect in you, that is your false ego, but your devotee aspect will tell, no, I should not compare. If Krishna has given him, he did not get it because, if anybody has got anything, it is because Krishna has given him. I should not complain. If I complain, that means I am complaining against my Lord. So therefore, one of the most important things I keep repeating to telling all devotees, 90% of your time you should mind your own business in the ashram. If you're minding with too many other people's business, that means that too much karmic thing is there and you're very dangerous to handle it. You can make mistakes. And that is one thing Krishna will not help. Once you are perpetually making offenses, you don't care for other Vaishnavas, then it's gone. Then, Krishna will extend your life into, okay, fulfill your karma and come. You realize that this lording is all bogus. False rasa. How much you can boss over, how much you can lord over. He was an emperor. Dhruva was an emperor. He had everything that he wanted to lord over. That is described in this list. He considered his body, his wives, his children, his friends, his army, his rich treasury, his very comfortable palaces, and his many enjoyable pleasure grounds. They are all creations of illusory energy. So these kind of Bhagavat Katha, we remember, and then we say, no, I will not succumb to it. And immediately take your bead back, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. For us, fortunately, in Kali Yuga, because every anartha will have one kind of a jnana, divya jnana, which will remove that anartha. But we are not jnanis. We cannot go and search for jnana. We have got Kali Yuga only one solution for all problems, one medicine for all problems, one medicine for all anarthas. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nastyeva, Gatiranyata. Just see how lucky we are. Otherwise, that is another issue. I have this sickness, what is the medicine? Not this medicine, not that medicine. I have to search for the right medicine for my right anartha to go away. Not required. One universal, one medicine. Chant and hear that very same sound. With Shraddha, that it is Krishna himself. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada says that finish your business in this life. Don't make me come back again. But how do I have a check on my karma bijas? There are so many karma bijas. I want to fulfill this instruction of him. And how do I have a check? Because there are so many endeavor we are putting it, but there are so many things.
You don't bother about what is your karma bija, what is your stock and all those things. Nobody can make out. You have surrendered to Krishna, simply understand the principle that is being handled by the Supreme Lord. Nobody can know all the karma and can dovetail and all those things. Only Paramatma can handle it. Only one person who can handle everything in this existence. Your life, his life, all life. Only Super Soul can do it. So it is Krishna's work. You don't have to do all those things. You simply follow. But for principle we should know that this kind of forces can come. Till I leave my body, these kind of forces can come to take me away from Krishna. To engage me in sense gratification, it can come. Continuously, that force is always there. That force has to be continuously countered. And it is very easy to counter because those forces are all nothing compared to a good chanting of 16 rounds in the morning. You don't have to be afraid about it. You don't have to be afraid what all prarabdha karma will come rest of my life. You don't have to fear. Why you don't have to fear? Because you have the medicine for everything. Suppose somebody says that I'll give you something. Anybody coming to kill you, immediately put that in your mouth. He cannot kill you. Are very nice? Or anybody comes to hurt you, marne ko aayega, immediately dal do. So you will feel so powerful. Oh, I have this medicine, I'm so powerful. Similarly, devotees should feel they are powerful against all anarthas simply by Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, because it is Krishna himself. When Krishna is before me, when Krishna is with me, I should not. You have Krishna with you, and then if you still desire, then Krishna will say, okay, I see how many living entities I am fulfilling their desires. You want to end all desires also, I will help you. If you have desires also, I am very neutral. Krishna is very kind. So we should surrender to Krishna and say, I may create so many desires, please don't fulfill the desires. I want only your desires to play in my heart so that I adopt it as my desires. Your desire, I adopt it as my desire. My desires, because Krishna is the fulfiller of all desires. So make one desire. Please do not fulfill any desires which is not your desire. And it will be fulfilled. Nama Chintamani Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Touchstone. Nama Chintamani. You make such prayers, it will get fulfilled. Any other question?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, as you told, the spiritual master and Krishna will engage devotees or engage their anarthas in a service of Lord, different way.
Through their whole system.
Yeah.
Like the whole ISKCON movement, Vaishnava Sangha. So the process is very broad. It includes all that.
So the question is, a devotee has a certain abilities and certain disabilities to do certain things, and the service is assigned to him, which is according to him he cannot do that, and he has to do that. So in that situation, how he should take it? It's Lord's mercy, means it's Lord is not understanding my feelings, or how he should take it, that service, even though it's difficult or
no
for his.
You see, work is difficult or not difficult. There are behind that, what is the attitude of bhakti that Krishna wants to teach you behind it is important. For us, when you say a service, means we always connected to result. We always connected to result. So let's say you did a service and you failed, and you think something is wrong with your bhakti. Not necessary. A devotee can sincerely try and still fail in his service, but not fail in his service attitude. He can fail in delivering the result of a service. Right in the second chapter itself, Krishna teaches, this result, leave it in my hands. It's not in your hands. The journey of service is more important. Because it is through the journey that I teach you, I purify you. Rather, the result can do the opposite. In the journey, you acted as a servant of the Lord, and when the result comes, you think, oh, I got the result. It can become a contamination. So, not only for karma yogis, even for devotees who are practicing bhakti yoga also, to handle results which are produced for Prabhupada and Krishna, the same formula should be utilized. Same instruction of Prabhupada should be utilized. Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. You should apply that to himself even when he does devotion service. I have a right to engage in devotion service, not for the enjoying the results of that. I will try because the result is for Krishna. In spite of knowing that result is for Krishna, Krishna can have so many reasons why he need not sanction the result. Because that result may interfere with some other devotee's desires. Huh? That is Krishna's job. Why something should happen in spite of your service or does not happen, it is his portfolio. He should leave it to him. Because he is the master of everybody and he has to reconcile all the So many desires of so many jivas. That is why you sincerely go and ask some person a donation. You did all your effort, full effort to preach to him. And then you don't get donation from him. Of course, as a devotee, I can think I have not sufficiently done properly all my effort. He can think. But he should not think that you are the only cause. If I had done this, he would have given check. If I had told like this, he would have given check. If nothing, what about him? Krishna should allow him to do the service. He is also a factor. So you are not the only factor. So he and his situation, complicated situation, all those things Krishna has to see. So this result is not necessarily connected to you have done your devotion service properly. Just like Prabhupada struggled so many years in India to preach, right? Nobody was getting influenced, very few. One disciple he initiated, very few. Does it mean that Prabhupada's journey of 2 decades was not pure? No. Krishna had so many multiple reasons. Now we can understand. Krishna created a situation in America. Hippie world. Hippie movement. All youngsters were disappointed. So Krishna arranged that also. And then he took Prabhupada there at the right time and planted this. Gave them the solution to their problems, their disappointments in life. If they are all well settled with everything, to go and speak and preach Krishna consciousness to a materially well settled person is very difficult. So these people in the West, they were all initial Prabhupada. Whom did he preach to? He did not preach to some intellectual philosophical society or anything. Parliament of world religion and nothing. He went to the parliament of Tompkins Park. Hippies drinking, smoking, having illicit sex. There he went. But they had one qualification. They were seeking truth. Where is happiness? Where is happiness? Truth and happiness they were seeking. They were seeking happiness. So Krishna will have his own reasons why something is delayed. Don't worry. Don't connect it to purity. Ourselves, you should measure your purity not on result, purity on your own. You know yourself. How much you have worked hard, whether I have been lazy, I have put my full effort, or I spaced out, I engaged in mental speculation instead of doing my work. These are the things that we have to check. That also affects our service. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, when we are in the field, when we are actually doing the services, how do we measure, or how do a sadhaka measure that whether he is dovetailing his karmas or he has started doing according to his guna and he has taken that path rather than dovetailing his services? So how do we keep a check simultaneously when we are doing services?
See, that's a whole system is there. If you fall within the system, this is a system, divine system created by Prabhupada. The system of Sadhu Sangha, system of Vaishnava, there is a hierarchy, and then you follow that, then you will be protected. Otherwise, by you carry on whatever is your assigned duties. You should do it. and then there is no confusion. There is very less responsibility like that. If one is simply flows with the system, then his mind one can be very peaceful in this, in Prabhupada's movement. As far as what service I should do, all those things, do it. Because it's not only service. You have got your focus is not in dovetailing alone. Your focus is, larger focus is on your sadhana, on your association with Krishna, direct association. Dovetailing is a service. Dovetailing service. So your dovetailing service will automatically get all the spiritual purity if you have a very good sadhana. Under the guidance of Guru and Vaishnavas, have sadhana and then you will be guided. This sadhana, because it should not go and feed our anarthas. Just like Bhakti Lata creeper. It's a creeper that is growing. Your chanting is going to water that creeper. Your service also should water that creeper. It should not happen that there is side by side so many desires which you allow it to remain. You know, Krishna in your heart is telling that this is against devotional service. Don't maintain this attitude. Don't maintain this desire. It is against. So when Krishna gives you indication, now you should ensure that you don't pour water of Hare Krishna Mahamantra into it to make it grow. I'll give you a simple example. Suppose somebody is a very successful CEO outside. Then in 30 years he was a big CEO. He was handling 500 employees, let us. Suddenly he reads Prabhupada's books and he says, now I want to surrender, I want to join. So he shaves up and he joins. Now, how to dovetail? He was handling 500 people and he was handling probably money worth 500 crores, 10 times more than what to manage this temple. Now he has got so many abilities. Can we give him that responsibility? Cannot. Because his entire perspective of work has to change. An outside CEO has got so much material motivation that drives him to do that. His driving force should completely transform. So it takes time, it takes purification. So self-purification is very important. A certain stage comes. So therefore, at that time, the devotee may be very immature. He will think, I thought I will do this, I will do that, I will do this for Prabhupada. Now I come here, they are telling me to wash pots. Many times devotees have come and told me this. Even in their small ability. Prabhupada, I can do so many things now, 3 months. I said, wait 6 months, no. Whole life is there for you to do everything. Krishna will satisfy everything. You wait. Wait, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Prepare the foundation. Prepare the foundation of how devotion service is executed. What is the internal energy of the Lord? How you will be directed. How it is not carrying the shoulder like a CEO. Here if you take your service like carrying a CEO work, then you will not be able to do your japa. It's a different ethos. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जाए, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जाए।